Dr. Paul Thomas, croeso I Clwb.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the new job, Chair of Sport Wales.
Yes.
A massive year ahead, a massive 3 years for you personally as well. Olympics coming. It must be very exciting to start your job in this current year.
It's amazing. Every day I kind of come into the sports world and pinch myself. It's just such a privilege to be part of something that's successful. And I'm stepping on the kind of shoulders of giants in terms of Laura McAllister's position in terms of chair and the way she's left Sport Wales. Phenomenal. I'm stepping in her trainers, as somebody said.
Yeah, big shoes to fill.
Absolutely massive.
You're going to be building on some of her stuff as well as your own ideas?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot of it that I'm leaving alone in terms of building. It's already successful in terms of high performance, in terms of our athletes. They're already looked after with Brian Davis and the high performance team. Fantastic facilities and environment. For me, my kind of drive and enthusiasm is grassroots, is actually getting more people participating in sport throughout Wales, really, and trying to move sport away to physical activity as well. So it's much more about getting people moving, getting people really enjoying doing some activity, whether it's outdoor or indoor facilities. Yeah,
you've already mentioned in certain press conferences that a new approach to community sport will be among priorities. What is this and why is it so important to you?
Well, I've grown up in the community. I was very lucky in the 70s and 80s. I know I don't look that old, but in the fact that I was able to come out of my house into a leisure centre, into a field or into the mountains. And I did rock climbing, canoeing, played rugby, played football, and just all on my doorstep. And that, to me, is where community sport really works, is that you have to allow people that opportunity to play. And I think we've lost that slightly. And it was always funded in a way that sport was seen as prevention rather than cure. So, you know, rather than pay all of this money at the end in terms of obesity and diabetes, actually sport was there to encourage people to be healthy and fit. That's what I want to try and get back to, is to show people that sport isn't intimidating. It doesn't have to be elite. It can be for real people, and it can be enjoyable. It can be literally sociable.
You briefly mentioned it there. A lot of this comes down to money and things like that. You look at the normal family in Wales, they'll look at their family budget, their income, and when things get tight, they'll tend to throw the gym membership out the window straight away. How is it important that we change this kind of mindset that people have?
It is, absolutely, and it isn't just about the gym. It's actually, you know, going to kick a football out in the field. It's going for a walk, going for a cycle, joining some of our clubs now. We have volunteer clubs, and indeed I have a gym in Eberville which is run by volunteers, and it's £10 a month. It has to be done differently. We've got to the point where money isn't the solution any longer. It's actually about changing the way we do things, from education, from youngsters getting hooked on sport, right up to somebody who's in the retirement.
Tell us more about your community gym. I think you started with around 30-odd members. Now you're over 200 or 300?
Yeah, 300. Yeah, it's incredible. It's I started about 6 years ago when I kind of started filling my garage up with gym equipment, and lots of people wanted to use it. So eventually we found a premises, and we found an old miners' welfare hall, which was really coming to the end of its life in terms of local authority funding. So we took it over. We kind of pay them a rent to run it, and it's run by the community. It's, you know, the personal trainers are qualified themselves. They volunteer then to induct people and to train people up. It's incredibly successful, and it's all built around trust and community. The community actually runs it and makes decisions on what equipment they buy next, for example.
The people taking part in the Olympics, it's a very strong group of Welsh people going there, and they'll represent us well, won't they?
Oh, incredible. You know, one of the things that, and I said right at the beginning, I don't worry about is our high performance and our elite athletes. They're incredibly well looked after. We could always do more. We're always seeking, you know, innovations and creative ways to get them to perform better. But they're in a wonderfully safe pair of hands. I mean, I've spent the last 2 weeks, you know, being overawed by all of the technology, the information, the data, the training, the facilities that these athletes get to. And again, we could always have more, but it means more investment, and it would mean more medals, but it's the money thing.
We have to mention the Commonwealth Games in 2018. Will that be some sort of target for you to implement your ideas and plans?
Well before that, if I want to. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when I go into and I advise companies around the world, they have a window between 3 and 6 months to make some significant changes. By 2018, we'll start to see those changes, and I think over the next 3 or 6 months, I want to, the changes that I want are very small scale. I want to increase democracy. I want to bring in our national governing body, so we're doing more for them rather than thinking we're doing the right things for them.
And from the conversations you've had with government already and some things like that, is there kind of a willingness on their part to spread this kind of vibe that Wales is a great place to kind of host sport and to participate in sport?
Well, yeah, without a doubt. I think I'm in position to, and I'm here today as a result of that energy to make a real difference. We're already, I think, a proud sporting nation, even though it's our vision to be even more proud of what we do. You only have to see when we win a gold medal or we win a Six Nations, the difference that we feel on the Monday morning. It's part of our fabric in Wales. I think we just have to do more of it.
And with that in mind, Commonwealth Games 2026.
Yes.
Are we going to be bidding for it? Is that something you think that can happen?
Do you know, I think that's something that I have to kind of push, and there's so many questions that have to be answered in terms of the economic value and the difference it would make. It's a no-brainer. I think it's incredibly important that we stand out there as a nation, that we can put on these events and make it a fantastic event, not just for Wales, but for the Commonwealth.
Well, the thought of that is very exciting, I've got to be honest with you.
Yes.
Let's talk about this summer now. We have to touch on Wales in the European Championships. I haven't been there for 50-odd years. It's going to be great. You must be excited. And are you a football fan and you're looking forward to watching these games?
I'm not a football fan. Completely the wrong shaped ball for me. But what's wonderful is we're not going just there to make numbers up. It's the first one for 58 years, I think, isn't it? So it's really exciting. We're the unknown. I think we're going to do really well. We get semi-finals.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been hopeful. I've been telling everybody we'll get out of the group, but
yeah, no. I think it's called stretch targets. I think we've got to hope for something much bigger.
Fantastic stuff. And also, before you leave us, in 3 years' time, what's the one thing, if you look back at that 3 years, when you're lying in your bed or on the beach somewhere, you want to say one thing in that 3 years that you'd love to achieve?
Good question. I think I'd struggle with one thing. I think there are, for me, three things. Sorry.
That's fine.
This is, for me, more children participating in physical activity. It becomes we get more adults into physical activity and playing sport with our national governing bodies, and we win more medals. It really is that simple.
Fantastic stuff. Well, one thing's for sure, an exciting summer ahead and a fantastic 3 years with you steering the ship as such. Thank you very much for your time. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Yeah, diolch yn fawr. Thank you.